Welcome to the Out There channel. Live stream 472. Chan channel. So much to do.
Hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding love, I'm hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding love,
Finding hate.
Let the fate control your body.
Beginning. What can I hear myself?
Hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving,
Loving. Okay. Alright, seemed louder than normal. Perhaps my earwax cleared out. I do suffer with that. Itchy ears. Yeah, I think it's everything's working. Anybody out there? We're back to the desktop. Yep. Okay, welcome. So, more to talk about again. Welcome to the Out There channel. 472. Looking over more claims put out by YouTube channels and newspapers. So you always got to fact check. Fact check. No one does. You always got to make sure they're quoting what they're saying. Because it changes the whole meaning, of course. Hey, how's it going? Mandela Mile. You're not part of the effect then. Mandela effect. Sometimes I think I'm in a different world when I wake up. Something seems different. Perhaps I'm in the next universe. Random universe every time you wake up. Wouldn't that be a thing? Everybody seems the same, but maybe slightly different mood, and a bit more snappy or whatever, you know. Feels like that at the moment. Everybody feels tired. I'm not sure if the claim's right that the oxygen levels in the world is actually dropping. So that would be a bit of a worry if that's the case. Maybe there's pockets of less oxygen that goes around countries and hangs over cities. And it sort of makes everybody sort of sleepy because they're not getting the amount of oxygen in the air. What would be causing that though? Pockets of less dense oxygen. That'd be something new. Maybe something not discovered before. You'd have to have sensors up in the sky all the time, like blimps measuring it all the time, wouldn't you? Maybe it's all the rainforest being cut down. But yeah, where's most of the oxygen come from? It comes from the sea, doesn't it? Maybe I should just check that up on that. What was I going to do? I was going to get my website link and pin it up. Then we'll dive into it. And Dan, how's it going? You shouldn't need to rush to school today. But I will be finishing at normal time, about 6 p.m, because we've got dinner. Let's see. Help keep OT on, yeah. And you got links there. You can join our group, submit videos, photographs that you want to analysed, have our opinion from the group, and myself. Better pin it. Super chats are operational. Well, they should be, but I never trust Google. And they seem to be trying to close me down, if anything. We've talked about the stats not going above 2510, and always hangs around about 2500, 2510. As soon as it gets up to 2510, it starts dropping again. So it's kind of weird. And BitChute dropped 2 overnight, which doesn't make any sense. Because live stream yesterday was about some Men in Black stories, which were quite interesting, strange. Not heard them before, so there's always stuff in books that hasn't been translated into the internet. So yeah, it always pays to check books and stories and bring it to the internet in some form. How's it going out there? Oh well, yeah, homework gets a bit boring sometimes. Wait till you get to university. They don't teach you at university, they lecture. They give you big book references, and you got to dash off and try and beat everybody else to the books, because they only got so many copies or whatever. Or some you can't even take out, some you have to, reserved. And you have to lend it for an hour or whatever. But yeah, I think university has changed, made it a bit easier since I've been last year. Because they're saying that university degrees are not the same class of people. And maybe it's true. Because they change, make it easier, you know. The pass rates and resets without having to keep paying. Yeah, I was with a lot of clever people in high school. There was a lot of high IQs that I used to go to, and they're way cleverer than I was. But when they got to university, they just simply collapsed. They couldn't self-study. They couldn't focus. It's kind of strange. A+ students suddenly failing at university. So yeah, university is like a life experience. You meet a lot of interested and clever people that sort of may change your viewpoints that you used to have. So they're looking outside the box type thinkers. And you can go along to join all these different clubs, right? My one was beer making. Wine club. Fun things. Other stuff that you needed the break from. But most of the time, after hours, we were always night clubbing. And sleeping in the sun. Because that's the way you pass university. When you study, it absorbs in a lot quicker when you're not so stressed out and tired. Plus, anyway, I knew most of it anyway from high school because I was like the monitor of the club there. So I knew binary and how to add it together and all that sort of stuff. And that's the sort of first year stuff. So first year is like you might just pick up the assignments, complete them, and go and do other stuff. It gets a bit harder once you get to year 3. Then it gets a bit more tricky. You start doing stuff that you don't normally come across, like functional languages and strange concepts. And Turing machine and all that sort of stuff. And you have to do your own research. But anyway, on with the show, I guess. University, though, is not all based on one subject. When you do it as a proper degree, 60% of it is actually on your major, which is computers, say computer science. 40% of the points come from other topics, because they want you to be a well-rounded person. So you have to do some maths, you have to do some physics, you have to do some maybe chemistry if you want to, and you can choose, pick and pick. You can pick maths, some bits out of science, some arty ones. Philosophy is always a good one to do, how to debate things, and logic. They've got a logic course, which is quite interesting, how you can sort of manipulate sentences to persuade people, which that Dubai guy is meant to be a professor in philosophy, and he's the king of convincing people that the earth is flat. So yeah, I always thought about doing some psychology to things, but psychology was like the bottom end of stuff, It's down there with maybe doing art and music. I did some music stuff though. Music was fun, but yeah, better carry on. So all these people that say qualifications are not important, it's really the life experience as well that you get from it. It's not just about the qualifications, it's about the people you meet and the new ideas, and see that there's actually a lot more clever people out there that you can become friends with if they're not too busy themselves. A lot of them are chasing their careers, of course. So yeah, first up, Secureteam again. Surprise, surprise. Let's put out his weekly episode, which we'll go over. And we'll just work through it all and correct the mistakes. Why is that always amped up? I don't know about you, but I can't really stand that music, and I can't stand his voice, but we have to do it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. Now, I was...
Whenever I hear that, what's up, guys, it sounds creepy, It sounds like Michael Jackson. It sounds creepy, like you expect someone to phone up the kids, talk to the kids like that. What's up, guys? So yeah, first headline here, he's got UFOs buzzing US warships may be aliens. Now I thought, have they finally come out, or is that fake news again? Has that been manipulated? Because this guy, I know, will dive with whatever's presented on these magazines. Well, UFO articles on newspapers. We know there have been misquotes and no fact checking on what was said. So I thought maybe this is going to be one of them. So I did quick check this morning, and sure enough, that's what I found out. So I did a search and found 3 newspapers, and only one actually quoted what is actually said. The other ones seem to modify what was said. So the Gazette here, before we play Secureteams, we'll see what it says here. So it's almost a similar heading. National Intelligence Director Avril Haines admits possibility of aliens, although she did say the word aliens. So we go back down here to see what actually was said. Let's just zoom out a bit. The Director of National did not rule out the possibility of aliens, when discussing UFO sightings during a recent forum at our Future in Space event at Washington National Cathedral. The main issues that Congress and others have been concerned about is safety of flight concerns and counterintelligence issues, the DNI told the forum. So this is where the real information comes. Always there's also the question of, is there something else we simply do not understand, which might come extraterrestrially. So there wasn't any mention of alien there apart from ET, which is probably a more correct terminology, isn't it? Means it's not terrestrial like on Earth, but outside Earth. But you can see here, she said it wasn't buzzing the ship. She said that we got to study more and collect more data to rule out it possibly being extraterrestrials. She didn't say at all that they admitted to knowing about aliens. Not in this article anyway. Haynes, who leads the 16th Intelligence Agency, spoke about the lack of organised reporting structure for potential sightings. A large portion of that is based on the fact that we don't have a consistent way of reporting this information. You know, isn't that a crock of shit though? They had all these departments, so just kept renaming them over the years where they could report all this. Plus they got MUFON. So why can't the military pilots report to MUFON? We need to integrate a lot of data that we get, she said. We need to get better at collecting information that's useful to us, from different services that are available to us. And of course, you know, Dr. Greer set up his database where he managed to get military people to add their reports onto it. And then Pentagon was more interested in Dr. Greed because he had some information they didn't have. Because obviously the pilots didn't feel comfortable reporting to a military department over external people like MUFON and Greer. So that's how he got famous. So who's got a happy birthday? Mole. Happy birthday to you. I have a friend over and wrote while I was in the other room. I think people with different body organs should be alien. They call them freaks, I think. Let's see. So, still no mention about aliens busting warships there. Unless it hasn't been written down on this article, which is kind of strange. Lacks organisation reporting. A large portion of that is based on the fact that we don't have consistent reporting systems. We need to deepen our analysis in these areas. Something that doesn't surprise you in the way. So they're just making excuses here. We need more money. We need more stuff in the sky. We need more law changes to be able to spy. Right. In June, Haynes' office released much anticipated assessment of 144 reports of UFOs. Yeah, but we didn't get to see all of them, did we? With the conclusions, Like that thing that went to the sea. Was that the balloon or not? Was the debate. 80 were observed with multiple different sensors. Most reports described the UFOs as objects that interpreted pre-planned military training or other military operations. So how many was that again? They didn't say. 21. So 21 showed up with military exercises. Is that what they're saying? Oh no, hang on. Reported. It's better as the charts, isn't it? The report also said a handful of UFOs appeared to demonstrate advanced technology, and 18 incidents described in 21 reports. Observers reported unusual UAP movement patterns or flight characteristics. It didn't say up there though, did it? So it must be 18. 18 of those following military, the ones that are the most strange. And then you got, they're talking about the former Senator Bill Nelson, who now runs NASA, hinted at possibility of aliens during an event last month. Again, he's just like any other scientist or this woman here saying, oh, we believe there might be life existing elsewhere in the universe, that's why we've got to keep studying and storing data and analysing it. It's the same old statement, it's recycled. It's not saying that they now are saying, yes, we know some are actually alien. They haven't come out with that statement at all. So how does New York Times come up with this one here? What ships may be aliens? Top spy chief. And yet we don't actually get to see the speech, right? So it's a bit suspect. So I thought I'm better check on that, see what actually was said. That's it. It's just got a general video there. So wasn't really much there, was it? But if you go and read New York Times one, it's totally different. The statements are different. So New York Times, of course, they're the ones that are bringing all the new information to us, right? So you may remember they did some retractions as well. New York Times, top spy aliens. Let's see what comes up. That's the one that Tyler's using. Okay, obviously there's a lot of things about spies. Let's see. What's the heading again? Buzzing. Let's put the word buzzing in. She didn't say anything in these clips that we just read out, anything about buzzing warships, aliens buzzing warship. What they've done is interpreted what she said. We got things buzzing the warships that are strange movements, and she said, there's possibility there might be extraterrestrials in the universe, and that's why we've got to keep studying. Let's join it together. So yeah, and that's what you call fake news, because it's changing the context. Did it come up this time? It didn't come up again, did it? That's kind of weird. Why it's not? New York Times. Maybe I'll get rid of New York Times. Top spy. Aliens buzzing. Here we go. Okay, so this is the one on Tyler's page. And it hasn't got anything apart from the event. The future in space in November. Hasn't actually got her speaking that part out. So let's see what they say. She admitted that there remains things about the strange encounters which the intelligence community simply does not understand. So she's not saying it's aliens. And the main issues that Congress and others have been concerned about, safety, yep, that was in the other article. The main issues that Congress, yep, no, we just got that one. Also there's the question, is something else that we simply do not understand, which might come extraterrestrially. That was in the other article. Haynes appeared to hesitate when mentioning the word extraterrestrial. She's probably trying to think of EBB, which is normal terminology for military, isn't it? But she has now become the most senior person to hint at aliens. See? So they've gone from extraterrestrial to aliens buzzing warships just from that one, those comments. So DNA knowledge that there needs to be better reporting. Yep, that was in the other option. US officials are believed to be in the process of setting up a permanent office, so we already know about that. So there's her talking at this event, I guess, but we ain't going to hear what she's going to say. The stunning and unexplained encounters have gone beyond blurry photos. I don't know about that. The Navy ones are pretty crap. To highly detailed incidents involving US warships. But again, they're not saying it's aliens. They haven't said out, yes, it's aliens. We've got a picture of one in the cockpit. Although Lou has said recently that they have got HD pictures of flying saucers from pilot cockpits where you can actually see the alien. So where's that stuff? So yeah, who's telling the truth? Who's disinformation here? But we probably know there are aliens. But we can't prove it either. But we want the proof. You can't tell me that these pilots haven't got a 200 times zoom factor on 120 megapixel camera sensors now on their targeting systems. God, you better see the pimple on the side of a fighter jet's enemy pilot now. With that kind of quality, you better read his tattoo and all that sort of stuff. And we need a deeper analysis. That's what the other article said. Was anything else here? Acceleration of mankind's relationship with space. So yeah, that heading is totally clickbaity, isn't it? There's nowhere she said that statement at the top there, which just pisses me off, really. US UFOs buzzing UFO warships may be aliens. She never said that. They've just taken things out of context and rearranged it. How come that's gone wide again? I keep adjusting that. So every time I start the browser, sometimes it just changes the sizes slightly. Anyway, what are these guys up to? Hey, UFO bro, how's it going? man-made technology that exists. So yeah, we can't discount that. We already know that they've now recently come forward about hypersonics, that everybody's into it, and that's been the whole point. That's advanced technology, according to the F-18 pilots, right? That's anything over Mach 5. So, are they pilotless? We don't know, but it makes sense that they could be AI controlled. That would be scary. That would be like Terminator in the sky with nuclear weapons, especially with the Chinese adding one. 0 point energy. I talk about 0 point energy in my Tesla documentary. It's not. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology to use. It's just energy that you can create from universe energy, so to speak. So the universe has got dark matter and dark energy, which the scientists believe exists, but they can't prove it. So it's just a matter of converting that dark energy into regular energy, and then we can use it. And that's really what it boils down to, right? They used to call it free energy, because you don't have to pay for it, but is it free, and does it impact on the universe? If you take it away from the universe and convert it into another form, will it eventually go back into the universe? Maybe that would be a dangerous thing. See, we don't know what we're playing around with. The scientists could start off something which is dangerous and cause an imbalance in the universe, which causes it to end. There's all sorts of things out of box thinking you have to have, I think, when it comes to scientists and the universe and aliens. Yeah, Danish 12-year-old boy claimed to have seen 3 of them, small greys with large eyes. Well, lots of people have. Although it seemed to come since 1940s, right? But the earliest ones off the greys, or the abductions, was 1960s at least. But it doesn't mean that aliens went around in the 40s or earlier. Some said they got photographs of UFOs back into the cowboy days. So could that have been the very first entry? Or do we go back to Bible times? We don't know any of that's correct or not, unless someone digs up like the Sphinx or the pyramids, and underneath the base they find a buried alien or flying saucer with it. That's not going to change much, I don't think, unless they can find evidence. But it's interesting stuff anyway. So this New York Times goes on a wee bit. So here we go. Elsewhere at the 2-hour-long event, the DNA warned there could be colonial conflicts in space between US, Russia and China. Well, at the moment, China trying to take over Malaysia, so yeah, that's fairly obvious, isn't it? She said that US is committed to protecting access to and explore space. Will man ever get on with each other? Will they stop doing the land grab, the resource grab? And the 1%ers, will that ever stop? I don't know. I don't think the world's ever going to improve, and humans are not going to ever improve. Blue Origin and Mammoth boss Spencer lay out his vision for mankind's future in space. You can bet they're going to make lots of money from it too. So what's the end game in it? They know for their future offspring that they'll have to get into space, because already they know there's a possible asteroid coming in 2183. That's going to be the nearest miss ever, if not a collision. So they're going to have something in space ready to, because they're about to calculate it better by then, how to push it off orbit as well. They would have the technology by then, hopefully. But little robots that land on the asteroid and fire engines or stuff like that. So yeah. So it pays to read the official article, I guess, and other versions of it. This one's got far more added to it. Where they've just added on benzo and other things as well. Look. To make it into a longer article, right? Sensationalize it. I'll post those links there so you can have a full read of it. And you can compare it. New York Times. That's by Boss. But you know what Tiger's going to say. See, they knew it was aliens all along, and they just now admitted it. Well, they haven't. That's the whole problem. Did I actually close down the other one? What was it? Gazette, wasn't it? National... That's the one. So, they both use similar titles though, but this one was more correct because it didn't talk about aliens buzzing warships, well the other one does, right? She admits the possibility of alien life. Fair enough. A lot of scientists have, a lot of TV personalities have. Everybody has, because the universe is big. Let's go back to this sucker. And I can't believe so many people like this one. So let's just go through it.
Wasn't planning on posting a full video until tomorrow, but this news hit and I had to comment on it. As well as...
Okay, so he read this and he sprung onto it because he wanted to get the maximum views out of it. He's just admitted. It's doing exactly the same thing as Third Phase. We're the fastest at bringing you UFO news. Well, actually, it was New York Times or whatever it was. They're just recyclers.
As a piece of very intriguing UFO footage that I want you guys to see afterwards. But first, let's get to the main topic of today's video, and that is an article. It's been covered by multiple news sources, but we'll go with the main one here, which is the New York Post. That is titled, UFOs Buzzing U.S. Warships May Be Aliens, Says Top Spy Chief. And this was posted November 11th by Henry Holloway. We have an image here of the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, as she introduced President Joe Biden during a visit to the office of the Director of National Intelligence in Virginia on July 27th of this year. And so I wanted to go over this article due to the fact of everything that happened this past year with the ATIP program, the secret Pentagon UFO video leaks, the pilots.
Okay, so that was the debrief balloon, right? You can see here, the side of it here is actually a heart-shaped balloon. You can see it on the side. Remember I rotated it around and recolored it so you can actually see that it's just a Mylar heart balloon. And it's got some... it's got some little tiny balloon or some sort of counterweight hanging from it, which obviously tries to keep it more upright, right? But there it looks like the same as that there, but it's not. If you look at it carefully, It kind of looks like the edge of a heart-shaped balloon going this way. Nothing to do with Batman balloon. So you can see how chunky it is here. And this guy will keep recycling these silly images as UFOs when they have been sort of debunked. Other people said it was a balloon, but they didn't get the right balloon. Right, helium balloon. So I'll just skim over what I've said in past lives. And the Batman one might actually pop up on the first page. So it's obviously not a red one, so maybe I should put silver in. Okay, so here's the one in question. I think it's got that crinkly edges on it, but we need to put silver in. Maybe Mylar. So there's various sizes. 18 inch is what I believe is the one they saw there, 2 foot. But they can go up even bigger. Where's the one I found that matches the same dark and white patches on the edge? Maybe I got lucky on it. But you can see some of them have got really nice rounded edges, some have got crinkly edges. And of course we don't get the side view, but you can see here this one's sort of turning this way. You can see it's quite thick, quite deep, right? Same as what you see in the video. It's just a matter of switching it around in your head. So you're seeing it on a strange angle here. And I have debunked it in previous life and have the image up, but I'm not sure if I can find it. Because there's so many of them. I can't find the the right angle that I found that showed the same pattern. Maybe I have to put in Mylar. Sometimes the keywords change it, right? None of those ones. So it even looks like glasses there, doesn't it? Looks like a face. That's what you see with pareidolia on these images, where people are saying, "Oh, it's Batman." It's not. You get even heart-shaped ones with stuff printed on. But I believe it's all silver, and if you can find the right one, you can see it has the same pattern as the other images of the Batman one. And alas, I can't find it in the search. I thought it would just come up straight away. No. That's why I always save it. I will have it on the hard drive somewhere. Normally with the episode. But yeah, I think I got some images of how I processed it on the thumbnail. Yeah, I'll just go down and find it. Done a heap of stuff. Keeps on going. I'll catch up in the side comments in a minute. Here we go. So I'll just open up that one. And I don't want it playing though. I just want the thumbnail. So here's the one that we're after. I didn't see it there. It's quite thick depth, I mean. And all we're seeing in this image is the actual crinkle pattern, which is that bit there going around. And we don't see the rest of the balloon because the sky blue is reflecting off it, right? So it's actually quite a lot deeper than what you're seeing because of the reflection of light, and it forms that heart shape here, which has really shallow curved round bits. And there's this one here rotated around with an overlay of a motor balloon. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the side of the heart balloon there. Yeah, so you can go back and watch those videos there. And it's not a UFO, unfortunately. But this is why we follow the truth here and just don't accept everything. So let's carry on. So when you hear the Batman balloon, you'll say no, it's actually a Mylar silver balloon, heart shape, 18-inch.
And the ship and aircraft carrier commanders who admitted that.
So again, he keeps putting up this one. He knows it's internal camera reflection here. And you're not seeing a spaceship, but you're seeing the edge of a bevel of the telephoto lens. And those little aliens there are actually little screw heads. And that guy that was filming with it tricked Dr. Lear and other people, media people, while he was doing it. So he would say, oh, there's a UFO light up in the sky. He would aim his telephoto up there, but he would zoom in on it and bend the lens because it was an ill-fitting lens because he had two different makes of parts. So it wasn't made for that particular handy cam. So you could actually film the inside of the camera. And that's what you get. So when you get the optics are not aligned properly, it's like a reflection inside the camera, and then eventually you can zoom into the reflection. And that's why it looks so funny. You see all the different images that are out there. So again, that has been debunked as well. But they'll keep on using it, and I keep bringing it up, of course, just to see if there's any new people out there that haven't seen the debunk on it. It probably goes down a fair way, this one. I've done it over several years, right? But you can just put in Turkey, and in this section it just searches my videos, and to see an analysis. Now, I thought it was actually true myself until I did an analysis on it. And then I thought, damn, the guy's a hoaxer. And I can't tell you how disappointed I was. So you can see here, even back when I first started my channel, in December 2016, and that's a couple of weeks after I actually had it up, the video analysis of the things moving inside the ship. They definitely look like alien greys, but here I've done one here, debunked again, Turkey footage debunked again. So you can go and watch those ones too. So that was my original one, so you can see how much, once I get some more information coming, I revisit things and can go from looks pretty good to no, hoax. So I do change over time when more facts come in, and my skills get better, of course. So Turkey, this is the first one, where people were making claims that it was a wind farm, and I've said, no way is this a wind farm. That the object and with the things moving around. Now, you can say, how did you get the aliens to turn? Well, all you had to do was flex the camera or knock it, and those little pins, you're talking about like micro-sized pins, would wobble. And that's what he did. It's quite simple, really. When you know how it works, how to make a fake fool people. And yeah, so we're just going to carry on. So yeah, I don't know why that one didn't come up, but it'll be there somewhere on that thumbnail. I just got lucky on the first search, and I thought, that matches. The shadows match, and I went from there. Sometimes you just get it, and sometimes you don't.
Their ships were being swarmed by unknown objects in the middle of the ocean, and the reason this is so relevant...
Hey, Dan, what do you reckon that one is? Again, he's putting up images and not obviously UFOs or been debunked. Their parachute flares, of course, illumination flares. Sometimes the Marines drop it, the Coast Guard drop them to illuminate drug runners on the sea, or where they've been surrounded at night time. And this might be just a daylight practice run. So, again, that not UFOs at all. Alien craft.
Is because we basically have here the most senior leader below the president that has now come out to basically confirm that something is going on here. So we'll start with the article. It reads, quote, UFOs buzzing warships and being reported by U.S. pilots could be of alien origin, America's top spy chief has said in a...
Actually, he's using the sun. I thought he was using the New York one. The sun's even worse. Look. See how the sun's changed it all. So, no wonder. We know the UK rags are the most non-factual stuff on UFOs ever. And they used his material as a good example why. So, yeah. That's where the terminology comes from. So did New York Times get the information from the Sun somehow? Maybe got misquote there. She was quizzed on UFOs. Task Force. So they got different write-ups completely to the other newspapers. And it's actually more misleading.
Stunning admission. Avril Haines, the Director of National Intelligence, or DNI, who oversees all 16 U.S. spy agencies, including the FBI and the CIA, was speaking on the Our Future in Space event at the Washington National Cathedral, which, by the way, I have been to that cathedral, and it is simply stunning on the inside. The article goes on to say, Mrs. Haines was quizzed about UFOs, which have become a serious national security debate in the U.S. after years of being co-signed to the dustbin of conspiracy theories. The stunning UAP task force report, well, I don't really know how stunning it was. We waited a year for it, and it was a 7-page report full of big words that really told us nothing whatsoever, but I digress. The stunning UAP Task Force report published by the Pentagon over the summer admitted that there have been unexplained encounters between the U.S. military and mystery objects, such as the infamous Tic Tac UFO. And while the report, which analyzed 144 sightings...
But she didn't say it was aliens.
...did not explicitly spell out a possible alien connection, and how could it? We expected that. They're never going to tell us the truth. But once again, I digress. It did not rule it out either, as the mystery continues. Haines appeared to crack the door open even further for a possible alien link at the event where she spoke alongside NASA Chief Bill Nelson.
Okay, so that was CGI. Did he make that? CGI UFO before? So this guy said nothing either. He said, yeah, he believes there's alien life out there, maybe in multi-universes even. Which is a new thing for NASA-type people to say. So even they are sort of changing their viewpoint on our reality of things. Multi-universes would be mind-blowing if they could prove it. And maybe they have. Maybe they know more than what they're saying. But again, you can see what Tyler's done here. He says, the government will never admit to aliens. That's always going to be the case, isn't it? Unless there's no way they can sort of hide it. So NASA.
Who, if you guys remember, just a few videos back, I did a full video on his statements about aliens. So if you haven't seen that video, head over to the video section on my channel.
Okay, so he did something clever there with his episode. Remember the articles also, one of the articles talked about this guy at the very end, New York Times one. And obviously the Sun one did the same. So what, instead of him reading out the rest of the article, he just simply brought up this thing and then made a reference to his other episodes so other people will go back and check it out. And also it adds a wee bit of filler here too, because you have to get 10 minutes. You can add more than one add-on to your episode. Generally people have a front, middle and end one, but the longer you go you can add more in, right, and get more money from the episode through ad money. Now you got to remember, Tyler has made, which has been confirmed to me by his cousin who had access to it, that he had made $2.4 million from ads. So that's not donations. So it's big money, and this is why Google protects him. Because if he's making that much money, how much is Google making from it? They're not going to get rid of these channels anytime soon, and not going to demonetize them, because then they won't be getting that money spent from advertisers. Advertisers put so much in a month, and then they have to eat it up. You know, they have to keep displaying the ads, and every ad displayed, 1,000 of them, takes away $1 off their account, or whatever. You know, that's the only way they generate money. And this is why these type people like Tyler only submit their material to YouTube, because they're the only ones that are really doing that and making big enough money out of ads. There's Rumble trying to do this similar, but it's not very successful. And your BitChute's got nothing there. Brand New Tube is another one. You can't make money unless you sell videos, apparently, whatever that means. I suppose you sell copyright ownership to someone else. Well, that's kind of weird. Yeah, so YouTube's the only one that's sort of only way to make money, really. You can do donations on the other ones, of course, but people don't seem to, because they seem to like the super chat, right? They don't donate very much to me either, but for some reason they just love Tyler's format. You know, the little short videos with misinformation and not a single real UFO in any of them. Because they don't understand what they're looking at.
Channel and give it a watch. It's got his picture in the thumbnail. Also included in the discussion was leading expert Professor Avi Loeb and the world's second richest man, Jeff Bezos. So there's a YouTube video here. You can find it from the article, but we see this woman here who she's top echelon. I mean, she is, as of right now, the senior 60-plus years now. So there's some untruth in that statement, extraterrestrially. But she has now become the most senior person in the intelligence community to hint at an alien link. The DNI, as she's called.
She didn't do that at all. She said we need to collect more evidence to prove it is extraterrestrials if it really exists. She didn't say there was a link at all. Now that's misleading.
Acknowledged that there needs to be better reporting structures put in place so that UFOs, now more commonly called UAPs, which I don't call them UAPs at all. That's a Lou Elizondo thing. That's a Tom DeLonge thing, and I refuse to call them UAPs. They're UFOs. But nonetheless, she gives this typical spiel in the article about how we need to be investigating these things more. And it's the typical fluff that you get, because we know that the government has been covering up the alien and UFO phenomena for decade after decade after decade. We've heard from pilots that have contacted me here at Secureteam, telling me straight to my face that they have seen these things, recorded them outside of their airplanes, and were then told by their employers not to talk to me anymore or ever bring up the UFO subject again, lest they lose their job in the
we're back to the
aviation
turkey
industry.
footage.
We also know that the government has recovered technology of an off-world nature. Some of that very alien technology of which may be being utilized within government craft that are in operation today. So again, beyond being just another fluff piece, what is important to take away from this, and yes, I know I sound cynical about it, but that's only because I've been doing this for 10 years on YouTube, and I've watched the government toy with us and attempt to throw the UFO community.
Yeah, so he's trying to say he's been doing it for 10 years. Doing what exactly? Misinformation for the government, because that's exactly what he's been doing here. Since he started his channel, was originally badged entertainment, remember? And his very first video, as someone's pointed out on the side, the UFO Pro, that he did Mr. Ken, but that wasn't his first one. The first one was the guy from Area 51, which doesn't have a name, unfortunately. But the other one was Dr. Norton, which was the second one to come out, and the third one was Mr. Ken. It wasn't until he got sloppy with Mr. Ken, and he was more famous then, that he got caught out and had to do a lot of damage control on it, right? So yeah, that's how he started this channel. Was it 10 years of research and getting real leaker insights like so-called Corbell's meant to be getting, even though that's a bit suspect as well. Yeah, I think the only disclosure we're going to get is from ourselves, by getting the technology ourselves as it comes out. Eventually we're going to have the same, or not better, capabilities than the Navy planes. But they can get up close and personal. Well, we have to use on optics to zoom in. But at the moment, all the stuff we're getting is non-optical. It's all done by smartphones with digital zoom, which is not optical, but firmware processing zooming, which is not improving the quality. But there are some new phones just coming out in 2018 that have now 2 times optical zoom and 3 times optical zoom. So in the next few years, who knows? So anything else on this one? I'll just keep on going. What's that?
Mention anything about aliens, but she did, and I give her kudos for doing that. And who knows, maybe she did that as a way to say to the government that, hey, I know what's going on, you know what's going on, it's time that the people find out what's truly going on. So tell me what you guys think about this article down below. I will post the link down in the video description. And
garbage as well, I think. So it's the usual stuff that we keep hearing over and over again. That the government says, oh yeah, maybe ETs, because they may be out there in the universe. Give us more money and we'll study it. It's always been the same.
One last thing that is very interesting to note is that at the bottom of the article, it states that this woman joked that she would, quote, get fired if she told the forum what is the, quote, coolest thing that the intelligence services are doing in space. I repeat, she said that she would get fired if she told...
Okay, so we've hinted at stuff like this before with cloud base, remember? Which is on the edge of space, which allows these stealth hypersonic blimps to attach to it high up in orbit. They use it for maybe spying. So if she told and confirmed that, she'd be in trouble. That's what I think she knows. She knows about this cloud base. it's like a floating city that's got jet fighters that can launch from it, and these stealth blimps that can go really fast, and like 5-story high, which might be what Art Bell saw with one returning over the desert to Area 51, where they got the biggest hangars, right, and a remote spot where people were less likely to see it if it had a problem and it was coming down silently. So yeah, maybe it's all going to fall together one day, and all these little bits of snippets of information and sightings over the years suddenly forms a big picture, and we will be able to say, well, that's definitely Black Ops and this is definitely aliens then. We'll be able to have two groups from the main group. What are these guys up to? Anything? CETA News. There's some people are willing to listen to Professor Ken, and they are willing to listen to anything out there. But have you heard his other ones? Have you heard the Area 51 guy, which is like Bob Lazar, really? He did a really good script on it. It goes on for quite a long time, like 25 minutes reading. And Dr. Norton, not so long, but also he talked about L-shaped craft on the moon and all that sort of stuff. And he put up those low-res images of the craters, right, where the shadow actually formed right angles because of the low-res quality and missing data, of course. It forms those shapes because it does it in blocks. Blocks. You've got missing blocks, it can form right angles and white and dark patches, right? So the dark ones look like shadows when they're actually missing data. So it looks like a monolith when it's actually just missing data and not a shadow. But anyway, he hasn't put those ones up recently.
The coolest thing that the intel services are doing in space. Very, very interesting. And before we go today, I want to...
Obviously, there'll be also, if we've got the Space Force, they're obviously going to be weaponizing it, I reckon. And they're not going to tell you the other countries that have weaponized the platform, just in case.
Show you an amazing piece of UFO footage that was posted a week or two back. You may have seen it already, but it was posted by the YouTube channel Dragana M. Redzik-Novi and translated. The video is titled Observation of the Moon and UFO. And then in the video description, it describes the music used in the video, as well as the camera used to take the...
moon, stuff passing from the moon. Whenever you hear it's from a ground-based amateur, they don't use the applications to rule out planes passing in their viewpoint. And then you have to be a bit suspect. Unfortunately, there's no tracking on balloons. There's no RF transmitter on it to say, so you could track those in the sky. Maybe there should be. Maybe there should be disposable electronics on disposable balloons and weather balloons, and you could track everything in the sky then. I suppose that would come in handy to rule out stuff in our field, at least. Also, astronomers don't want stuff passing in front if they want to do a long exposure, right? So most of the stuff that goes in front of the moon has been bats, birds, garbage, and like bags, plastic, balloons, a weather balloon, and also jet planes. So, and occasionally you might see a meteorite, but that's a bit suspect because that meteorite would have to be fairly big, I think. Just like he's going to point out, these things are cast in shadow, that means they're going to be fairly big, which is nonsense. So let's just carry on.
Which is a Nikon P900 shot at 1080p 60 frames per second. This is a wonderful camera. I have the P1000 this thing zooms up so close to the moon's surface that you almost feel like you're orbiting above it. Like,
now you compare that quality there to what's that guy? Bruce sees all his blurry photographs. He fails to tell you he lives in a zone where he's got like 7 Air Force bases all around him that do military exercises and drop flares, and obviously he films it when they drift, the parachute flares drift in front of the moon. But once you see someone lying, you know you should stay clear of them, and they're not being honest. And of course the guy never uses any of the apps to debunk planes and stuff, but even so, military planes for doing exercises won't appear on flight radar. They turn off their call sign, and flight radar is only call sign, it's not radar data related, although they have got a radar data add-on now. Interpreting it can be a bit tricky. It's not easy, but still, that's how you become honest Skywatcher, right? So you got to use the applications, because you're after the truth, you're not after anything.
Like the astronauts did during the Apollo missions. So I'll play the clip here just for a few seconds, and we'll see if you guys notice something. So here we go.
See if you notice it. It'll be a black dot that comes down this way. Now you can see how well that's lit that moon. So if it was an object close to the moon, there we go. It shouldn't be black, it should be white. It should have all the sun reflecting off it,
did
right?
You see it? Well, apparently the cameraman didn't see it either, because he goes on.
So that's a thing. It can't be close to the moon because you can see the moon is really well lit at the moment. So that object shouldn't be dark, it should be like a bright white blob instead. So it's not up near the moon where the sun's shining on it, but it's actually down in the atmosphere where it's dark, where there's no sunlight. But we'll just carry on
for another 2.5 minutes, showing these just beautiful shots of the moon taken with this camera. But right at the beginning of the footage, and we'll go back here, right at about the 7-second mark, coming in at what looks like a very high rate of speed, is what appears to be something similar to a circle, although it's so far away we can't tell. But what makes this even more amazing is that the object seems to be casting a shadow, an obvious shadow, down on the moon's surface.
So, does that look like a shadow to you? And is it in the right direction? So, looks to me like the shadows here and the craters are not matching up with the direction that is. You can see how well the moon is lit here tonight on this image. That there's hardly any shadows whatsoever. It's very faint ones where the deeper craters are. But that one's definitely well lit up. That one has like a crater here. Or probably multiple impacts forms a long crater. But still not matching up. If that was above the surface, we'd expect that to be smaller shadow, wouldn't we? As well. It looks like almost the same size, wouldn't you say? Let's see, we can step it, see how it goes. He's got it paused at the moment. It's a bit hard to tell which way the shadows are going, but it looks like it's going, the sun's shining down this direction, then we expect the shadows to be in the inside deeper edge, which means that shadow should be back here. Just following common sense stuff here, really. To me, that looks like it's going to be another balloon attached to that one. Maybe a different colour, so it's less reflective. and looks like it's just drifting. It's not stopping, not changing directions. What else is he saying here?
The surface of the moon, casting a shadow down below before exiting the view of the moon off to the left at the edge of the lunar horizon line, and the
let's
camera
see if it
pans
bends
away.
at all.
But as we just go back here and zoom in a little bit, this is amazing, because the fact that this object, whatever it is, the fact that it's casting a shadow down on the lunar surface, that tells us that this is not some balloon floating in Earth's atmosphere being
I thought I saw the balloon this side of it before too.
captured in between the camera and the moon. It also
It looked like it sort of come down from here and sipped around underneath, right?
tells us that this is not an object out in space.
See, if that was going over craters, I'd expect it to be deforming
Say halfway
and stretching, right?
to the moon that is being captured floating by.
So yeah, that's just misinformation again. And of course, how many other people would have been aimed at the moon that night? You know, casual amateurs, and only one has reported this. So, yeah. Maybe they didn't see it either. Maybe their technology is not as good. But still, no news about it on the rags, which is kind of strange.
No, when you have something passing an object like the moon,
So what is it? It looks like it's sort of spinning here, doesn't it? It looks like it's tumbled there.
and there is a distinct shadow directly beneath it following the object.
So can we actually get enough quality out of that to analyze it?
Means that the object
Let's try it anyway. See if we can get a big zoom in on it. So, saving it. Put it on the other display, which is the main display. So I have to drag it to my streaming display. Let's open it in the editor and have a closer look, because they haven't zoomed in really well, have they? You notice he hasn't put any filters on it. So again, I have to do it for him. Okay. It doesn't look like a circle now, does it? So you can see it's out of focus. Which means if he's got the moon in focus, that means anything passing in front is going to be slightly out of focus, right? Unless it's set to infinity, isn't it? But yeah, let's run it through some color curves. And we can play around with the brightness, which doesn't do much, right? Make it darker. It's not exactly looking like a perfect circle, is it? Yeah, so let's do some color swapping and see if we can see anything better. So it actually looks like it's a smaller balloon underneath, and this is typical of wedding balloons, where they have it on tables. They have these weighted balloons. That's why they're always below, right? They have a little bit of water in it, so they keep it on the table. And then they blow out with some extra helium. And they normally have a bunch of these around the bottom, like 4 of them, 5 of them. And then they have the helium balloon up here, the white wedding one. And what happens is someone pops it, or it pops at the end of the night, and they have it outside wedding. And then that floats off and creates a new thing in the sky, new UFO. And they're the most common ones, really. There's a lot of those types of events happening, people getting married, funerals. But you can see there it's not really a perfect circle. And it could be one of the other types of shapes you get, or it could be one of those pillow ones, which is crumpled in through the air pressure. So it looks kind of a bit like that. And you can see here the shadow has disappeared. Let's just play around with extreme filters. Let's see what else pops up. Okay. Kind of does still look like a pillow, a silver pillow one, rather than the right round ones. But it's a bit hard to tell because we're going through weather atmospherics that can distort. See all that sort of haziness that's around there. That's coming through water vapor, thin cloud, which distorts the images. It refracts light, bends light. So it makes it a bit more tricky for what the actual true shape is. But it's kind of looked like a pillow, like a wedding balloon. Wedding balloons. I'll just type in wedding balloon. There's all sorts of them. So they have these pillow type ones here. And that's a clear one, but they do get colours. White ones, see, these are the pillow ones. Well, it's actually a mix. Regular balloons, pillow type one. Let's see what else we got. We got these great big huge ones, big white ones, and they got these big huge ones. Look at them. But yeah, you normally get the ones that go on the table. There's a pillow one, is it? Oh no, that's not a pillow. Like I said, there's so many of them. It's most likely going to be a white one. Here's pillow ones, is it? Oh, there you go. What's that say? Can't quite read it. Happy something or other. That shape one. There's another pillow one. Sort of has that crumply edge going in. So yeah, it's got to be something like that. Where's the ones on strings with balloons underneath? Here we go. So normally have these balloons on tables, right? And they're normally weighted down with lead weights, but sometimes they have fancy ones, which uses little balloons. And just fill them up with water. There's another one. Can we see what's at the bottom of that one? I think they got weights on that one. And they got the outside ones here, which is another way to do it. Outside wind. I can't see what they're weighted down with there. But anyway, they exist. It just takes a wee time to search through and do a matchup. So I think it's something like that pillow one with a small balloon underneath. But he's told the audience that it's not a balloon. And you can see when you look at... let's actually put it through the sharpener. Maybe it'll bring out more detail. Last thing to try. Photo sharpener. But we introduce some artifacts in the process. So we get this outside white glow that sort of happens. So it looks like it's sort of on an angle here. We can start to see the reflections now. It looks like there's a reflection on the side here. But if that was flying over top of the moon, we'd expect that to be illuminated almost like the craters here. And the shadows here in the crater are going that direction, I believe. Although the sun's more angled deep inside. It's a very shallow shadow. But anyway, enough said on that, I think. So yeah, it could be one of those round white ones. Atmospherics could be distorting the outside of it when we sharpen it there. Or it could be one of those pillow ones, and wishing them happy marriage. And there it looks like the weighted balloon, or balloons I should say, more likely to be multiple. But yeah, if you watch that video carefully, I'm pretty sure I saw them up there to start with, then they come down.
Object is in a very close proximity to the moon's surface, and judging from the zoom on this and still how far away from the surface this camera was able to reach, this object would have had to have been massive. I mean, we are talking miles,
exactly,
if not tens of miles,
which
in
means
diameter,
it would be reflecting the sun like crazy,
seen with such clarity, and with such clarity in the shadow being cast by the object.
Now, you really think UFOs would be flying around so they can actually be seen like that with a regular telescope? Because they must know that humans are always looking upwards. So it's not even cloaked, right? It hasn't tried to disguise itself. So if it's a black UFO, say, going across a bright moon, that's a good way to show yourself. So yeah, I just don't believe it.
So if you've been with me from the beginning, you'll know that lunar anomalies, the moon landings...
And as you know, he's been debunked many times on these low-res graphics where he's claiming that to be some sort of cannon, was it? Or a microwave dish or something. Or a nuclear power plant was the other one, wasn't it? When you see the high-res footage, it's actually a shadow and a pile of rocks on the edge of the crater. And it's this pareidolia. And similar to this one here with the triangle. It's not really a triangle. But it's just a crater that's sort of got filled in. So when there's other impacts that happen outside, the ejected material, which is molten, runs along and down the atmosphere and then into the other craters, and it fills it in. So yeah, and of course it's low res, so it's not really that good defined shape as he's claiming. They're pretty low res.
And the strange objects that were captured above the moon while they were walking on it, while they were orbiting it, that's what got me into ufology and made me start this channel. And so it's...
that's lies. He got into it to mock it, because that's what he did with those leaker ones. he was mocking the community and hoping that people would send it in their emails and it'd get millions of views. And back then, if you got something like 1 million views, it was good money in the bank. As long as Google monetized it. So, yeah. If you put enough ads on it, you can multiply that earnings. So, yeah, now he's just showing, dust on the lens, scratches on the plates, all sorts of things, all mixed together there to claim to be UFOs. We've gone over that many, many times. Also, there was lint inside cameras, believe it or not. And cosmic radiation would cause bright spots, just like this here. But there was some talk about some secret transmission of them saying, what's that passing over above? Which again could have been the Russians. The Russians may have had something of their spying on them. And it still might be classified. Doesn't necessarily have to be aliens.
It's footage like this that gives me hope. And it's just one more piece of evidence to the stack of evidence that I've published on this channel that our moon, which by the way is unlike...
So is this missing data again? Alien ship flying over main structure. Shadow of long ship. Well, down here it's got a long ship too, but you can see it's more of a straight line with missing data. So is that what that is further along here? So if it's satellite going this way and it's stitching pictures together, could it had a problem scanning over that particular region for some reason? Every time it passed. Normally they go on an angle too. So what happens is they on these photographs, it's not taken with one image, it's taken with millions of images and they stitch them together. You've heard of the word stitching. So you can see how fine the telescope footprint is there. Little tiny squares, a few pixels. And it takes many passes, and of course the light changes too, and that's why you get a lot of dark and light stripes, which is really obvious on Google Earth, right? So I'm not too sure what this location is because we can't punch it in because it doesn't give us GPS coordinates for the moon. But we could probably bring that up on Google Earth Pro and debunk that one because that's really low res. So it may have satellite images going diagonally and then some going vertically, and it's sort of joined them all together, and some of it's missing in spots where the satellites didn't pass, or there was some sort of solar radiation where they lost the data, and of course maybe they didn't travel orbit that path for another 3 months. So all that sort of possibilities, right? How do we get to the moon on this one? Model, maybe maker. Where bits do we change it? Explore. There we go. Moon. So we're off to the moon. Okay. Oh, we got an X. X marks the spots. Okay, you can see already it's a patchwork of satellites going that direction and that direction at that particular altitude. And as you go down, and they might have ones flying at low, that are able to take lower down photographs with better cameras on it, and they fill it in, they stitch it all together. So this will be like millions and millions of images overlaid, and there will be these dark spots. You can find them all over the place. That one looks like it's really missing data there, doesn't it? Look, you see either that's a lot of missing data or that's some really dark shadows. You can see here how blurry it is too. So not really sharp detail at all, is it? What's the star there? Star NYA, whatever that is. Yeah, I'm just trying to find a patchworked, a patchy area. Look at that. What's that? A tunnel. Mission Gora. So what's that? I suppose we right click on it. So I've got all these add-ons, overlays. I'm not sure what it is. Confirmed. Rejected, exposed, unexposed. So I'm not too sure what that's about. But you got these strange lines. So what would cause that? That's clearly not missing data, right? But it goes on for a fair while, many miles. So if you had a rock that hit there and started rolling down, could it go that distance? Or is it some other thing that caused this tubulation that we don't know about, like lava underneath, or water underneath, or ice? So there's all sorts of mysteries that we need to find out. That's why we need to go back to the moon, because we need to study it. We need to study everything, really. I'm just trying to find a place where there's a lot of missing data. We don't know where at this stage. You can see here we've got something overlaid. Where does that one come from? Bombay High. Looks like someone's drawn a map of some kind. Yeah, I don't understand what that does. But there's a lot of names and pinpoints. So yeah, it's just a matter of understanding Google Earth, I suppose. Human artifacts. There you go. It's got a flag there. We've got a square. What's that one? Landing sites. So all these add-ons you can add helps you understand what's on the map, which a lot of fraud channels won't do. But again, I'm just trying to find the stripy area. Maybe I should have bookmarked one, because I always would come back to it. Google's always updating it though. Yeah. We can only see the patches from this distance, really. What's that one there? X marks the spot. That's where the moon base is. I don't know. What's that say there? William Land. No. Will Lops Land. Whatever that is. Nope. What's it say there? Will Cook. Well, right, it's K-E. Wilkes Land, too. So you probably have to Google that. Schrodinger. Sounds like probes of some kind. You can see it's got lots of scars from impacts, right? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe here. Here's a strip. You see how it's brighter? That time the sun was shining on that side when the satellites were passing, taking photographs, right? So what Google's done is decided those ones were better detail and overlay it. The old ones they've got, so they overlay it on top. Or it might be the other way around. These ones are the better quality, and these are the original low-res ones. Actually, it looks like these ones might be the lower-res ones, because these look better detail. Crater, cut in half. So you can see how it's sort of stitched together there. But, yeah, I was trying to find the location where you go right down, and you get these strange squares that look like monoliths everywhere. But I haven't bookmarked it, unfortunately, for the moon. Antenna farm. That's to do with Google Earth, though, those ones. I think. I wonder if I click on that, does it take me to Google Earth or on the moon? See, that might be a bug. I reckon that's a bug. I think these pinpoints, yeah, for Google Earth, and it's overlaying on Google Maps. So a lot of these ones with the pins are all going to be wrong. But these ones down here look like they're made for the moon. Yeah, because we saw the flags. And let's click on USA. USA Ranger 4. That's pretty handy. So it's there somewhere. And what does it look like? Crashed. So it didn't get any pictures before it crashed, probably. It looks pretty no information, doesn't it? The more we go down, no detail. It's interesting though, playing around with that. Need to play around with it more to learn it, really. But getting on. So these could be, you know, artifacts. It could also be scratches on how it was processed. Some of these low orbit reconnaissance ones use film, and they had all sorts of problems with scanning in and transmitting data with some of the earlier probes. So yeah, it's all misleading from Secureteam
any other
here.
moon in our solar system. And you can Google.
So it's showing us a shadow here, but this probably, if you fill it in properly with the proper data, that'll be just a crater, and this will be all white here probably. And it's a funny shape to be a UFO. Come on. Looks like a squiggle. It's going to have some missing data there. It's possibly a crater. There's a worm in space with a shadow. No, it's only pareidolia. That we keep
this yourself, and you can see all the reasons why our moon is so different from every single other moon that we can observe.
What do we got there? Okay, so Scott Brandeis also debunked these years ago that this was actually a thing they put on the moon called a target for crashing and stuff, for doing experiments with, or landing sites or whatever. So you probably could find that one on Scott Brandeis' target location.
Around every other planet in the solar system. But this proves that the moon, if not now, was at once inhabited. If not that they are.
I wonder if Scott actually has updated that. We'll just have a quick look at Scott, because normally he will repeat what he's repeated already, like I do. And may have that one up debunked already as well. Let's have a look. Not seeing that so far. It's talking about some other stuff here. Mass UFO sighting over France was just a hoax. Damn it! All these people called hoaxes. There's the crowd that hoaxed it, is it? Old fake. Looks like he hasn't brought up that one with them on the moon for Secureteam. Normally he does. But yeah, you can search his stuff for it too. What would you call it? Target. Problem is, as we found out, we can't search all tweets anymore. They disappear. Target moon. Try that. UFO of interest. So I've got it right. I'll try moon. Yep. So what else can we type in as a keyword with that? Secureteam maybe. And here we go. There'll be a lot of these. Why's the font so big? So hoax. So which one are we looking at here? Out of focus blob triangle. Pyramid. Okay, pyramid. So that's where the crater is, he reckons. And it's just a blob of rocks in the middle of a crater. And nothing to do with a pyramid. Okay. It's only got one. And that's no good. It's going to have lots of those. What's going on with Twitter now? Are they trying to cover up for Secureteam now, are they? And that come up with a few more. But they're pretty recent ones. Hoax promoter. CGI. Hoax. Is that the bird one? The bird. There's a bit of dirt on one of the lenses. I debunked that one as well. Okay, so perhaps it wasn't the moon. Was it the moon? Or could that be Mars? Maybe that's why it didn't come up. How back? We get to 2016 at the moment. I didn't see it flicking through there. So yeah. Try Mars. I'm pretty sure Scott will put it up at some stage. He'll know where it is and resubmit it so it's current. So yeah, that's not coming up either. That's a bit of a shame. Let's try NASA target. Nope. Twitter's hiding them. Let's see, we'll try it on here. NASA moon target image. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology. Hasn't given us anything similar to the arm one. Someone have it out there. I know it's on past live streams anyway, which past live streams is never questioned. But you can actually find the information on it. To do your own fact checking, which takes a long time. Fact checking, as you know, is time consuming. So it's probably here somewhere. Techniques for returning to the moon. This moon. Let's try disk, I don't know. Oh, here we go, is that the one? Aha! Covered up, caught on thing. See if anyone's posted something here. Now you can see it's gone through a lot of magazines. Scott may have posted to that, so let's have a quick look. That's it. Normally the debunks are added at the end or in comments, so maybe this is not the one. Apollo. So was it the moon or Mars? Now there's the image of the square. ancient alien code. Yeah, scumbags. Conspiracies say the image on the table shows structures. Yeah, but where's proper people? Okay, proper ones that give the thing. They go on to claim that proves an age-old myth. This is a way of intelligent life. Which is supposed an interview with project scientist. Hasn't got any balance in it. From what I can see, did I miss it? I can't tell you exactly what it is. How do they get away with keeping these articles up though when they know the false information? Beats me. Yeah, let's try another one. Express. Alien hunters. It's got the same sort of languages, hasn't it? So it looks like it's a copy of the last one. Yeah, it looks exactly the same, word by word, doesn't it? UFO interest, here we go. Alright, so he's given us some information there. So he didn't say security, that's why we didn't find it. There's a mark for the Centaur impact. So they obviously drew it on the photograph, is what he's saying there, I think. Scott Brand runs UFO Interest, which features reports of busted alien hoaxes. With their images and claims. He said NASA picture story was completely misrepresented on the conspiracy forums. He claims the picture in question relates to a 2009 mission when NASA fired 2 spacecrafts at craters on the moon to investigate the effects of impacts on the lunar surface to see if there was water, ice within craters. At the polar region, the mission was a success and identified the presence of water in the southern lunar crater Cambius. Brando said the square-shaped object conspiracy theorists were claiming was a building was in fact a target for the impact placed there by NASA. So my memory's not too bad. Just mark for the Centauri rock impact. So there you go, guys. You probably could research it even further and confirm it if you want to. So yeah. Again, Secureteam is misleading. Alright. Now he could have researched that. A lot of those articles come from him and Scott C. Warren at the time. All the claims.
There are potential secret government bases down on the surface of the moon. I've posted videos showing satellite footage and video footage of what appear to be base.
Okay, so the low risk stuff. The Ray base. Is it little white dots there? Is it? There was it. I don't know. Kind of looks like a load of white dots. There we go. Pretty low res. Yeah, Again, is it just missing data? Is it something else? Because it's filmed through a window of one of these things. It's not an outside camera. So yeah, again, you'd have to do some research on that one. But I've never heard of a array base. Let's just plug it in and see what comes up. Array moon base. Never heard of it. NASA industrial mature vertical solar arrays for lunar surface. I don't think they got those up there yet. 2021, so that's what they're planning. Developing 10 kilowatts movable PV array on the moon mission. Okay. So we have to watch out for that. Yes, so if that was what they're building up on Mars, you can see how massive that would be. Be very hard to cover up from the Chinese or Russians for all these years, I reckon. There's another option, build inside a crater and just keep expanding it, I suppose. Again, I don't think you could hide that. If Russians were doing it, if USA was doing it, I'm pretty sure they'd know, and it'd be like public domain by now. Yeah, but that old photograph didn't come up with that search. So not sure where he's got that one from. But that's, like I said, you can spend hours looking at everything that's being put up as a UFO, and just your time just vanishes. But that's what we do as truthers, not bullshit artists trying to make a buck. So he's got 146,000 there. If he's got 4 ads in it or 3 ads in it, that's a nice, easy. That's like times it by 4. That's about 200, 800 views, 700 views. Divided by half. 350,000 views would be payable. And you get $1 for every 1,000. So what's that? $350. $350 US on ad money on this episode. Not too bad going. Doing better than me.
Like structures down on the moon. The astronauts themselves, when they were orbiting the moon, stated that they saw strange things.
So what you can do, if you want to see if you can do a reverse image search on that, this might be the easiest, but you can see it's too grainy. And you can see here, that looks like missing data again, so that to me looks like could be missing data if they transmitted it. If they took it through the capsule window, you take their weight and scan it on Earth, right? So could it be cosmic radiation in this case, where it leaves little white blobs? So why the camera was stored, right? Cosmic radiation can come through any time and affect the film still before it's processed. So let's do a search on that one, and I think it'll give us garbage, but we'll have a quick look. Come on. Was it that one? Yep. Did we get any hits? What have we got? Does kind of look like the moon or some planet's surface anyway. But not that particular pattern. That's what I thought it would happen. Let's try moon. Okay, it's changed it. Let's try Apollo. Don't see anything similar still. Okay, here's a classic example of missing data right there. You got the black ones, which is total missing data, and you got the white ones, where it's lost the color information. But if you look through the white, you can actually see the edge of the crater in that one. And it kind of looks like a big tall building casting a shadow. But yeah, that one doesn't work. Array, maybe. Let's see what comes up with that. I didn't like that one at all, did it? Probably just a boulder field of white rocks, right? So that's probably all it is. Yeah, so if you gave us a location, we could look at it up on Google Earth again and see what's there now. So yeah, that didn't work. So this is the problem with these grainy videos. And
heard strange sounds, saw lights down on the moon's surface. I could go on and
on.
Alright,
but we just found that one on Scott Brando's one with a triangle, remember? That's just a rock in the middle there.
If you just go to my channel and search the term moon anomalies, lunar anomalies, you'll see a ton of...
There's the L-shaped craft one. Remember I was talking about Dr. Norton and L-shaped craft? Well, this is his famous one that you used
videos that I've been posting for the past almost 10 years on this subject. So,
which is obviously a crater, right? And the sun's shining this direction. So it's casting a shadow because this is quite high, deep in. So it's casting a shadow to almost halfway there. And it's illuminating the other side of the crater.
So kudos and all credit to Dragana M. Redzik. Amazing footage. Head over to his channel, throw him a like, give him some love, and as always, tell me what you guys think this object could be. Just another UFO captured flying above the lunar surface, similar to...
this one, another one he's got up here. Again, we'd have to do some research on that one, but I think, again, a lot of these end up being gamma ray strikes or scratches.
The many more that we've captured doing the same thing. I will leave you with this. The moon is very alive. It is not a dead rock floating in space. There are structures down on the surface. There is activity
the moon is alive,
happening above the surface and on it. And I guarantee you, as you stare up at the moon at night or look at it through your telescope viewfinder, there is almost a 100% chance that there is something.
Okay, so this little blob here was a camera artifact. They had like an instant camera they were mucking around with. Was it on the probe? Or did it get jammed? They had an instant camera. I'm not sure if it was on the moon as well as in space or not. But it used to leak in Zero G and cause these splosh patterns. I think this might have been taken aboard the lander as it's flying over in orbit, right? With that same instant camera. I think this is where that shot's from. not from those unmanned probes. But they did have negatives in some of those ones too, and scanned them in and then transmitted it back to Earth. Why, I don't know. Maybe because of technology wasn't up to sensor, didn't have the sensors back then like we have now. The first ones were CCD, charge couplet devices, and then they got replaced by CMOS technology sensors. As light falls down onto the silicon, causes a electron charge. The light absorbed into the atoms causes electron charge, and depending on this frequency and all that, could change, make it into colour as well. But yeah, that's just a blob in the processing, and it's not actually there.
Looking back right at you. So, I want to thank you guys for watching.
I think that one's called Tower of Babel, but don't quote me on that one.
Today's video. Tell me what you think about this New York Post article. I want to thank...
It's garbage, and I think everybody would love it. Because everybody here loves garbage. It doesn't prove anything alien at all. In fact, it makes it even worse. This disinformation makes it worse for the real people like myself. I commend the woman for the very least not calling us all loonies. Just returned home after spending nearly 4 months in the hospital after a failed attempt at a heart procedure. Damn. Glad to see you have returned and hoping with everything. He's alright, mate. He's doing a lot better than you are. They know exactly what the UFO phenomenon is all about. One day they will give us everything. I hope so. When you know Bob Lazar, I want to know before I die though. Bob Lazar was telling the truth. No, he wasn't. Again, it's not black and white, but grey. He told some truth and lots of lies. I have more trust in Tyler has to say than most ufologists. Well, you're gullible then, because you haven't done a background check on him. Tyler always reading between the lines. Yes. Only way to find the facts. This guy gets it. Kudos. Reading between the lines and adding his own facts. Gets no kudos. The object that surpassed the camera was so close to the moon. It has thrown a shadow on the moon's surface. So it is obviously not a bird. So these people are just so wrong. And the sheer fact that they could have seen from this Earth tells me that the object was massive. Or it was in low orbit and atmosphere here, 1,000 feet and passed in front. Called a balloon. It's becoming more relevant. The information given Paul Heller. That's not respect for Admiral Haynes. Why? She didn't do anything no one else has done. She just made a statement. She didn't say it was aliens. She's made a statement saying they want more money from the taxpayers. Nice one, young man. Thank you, Tyler. So where's all the critical people? Does he go around deleting everything, or have they given up posting? And the main footage from this video is stunning. No, it's not. Especially the NASA ones. NASA's worse than the P900. Going through atmospherics as well. Here we go. What's this one? Object flying over the moon is traveling 50,000 miles an hour. It means an hour, not and hour, or faster. And it's the size of what? Australia, to be that close to the moon. Flying at 50,000 miles an hour? No, I don't think so. So yeah, no one's actually cross-checked him. Yeah, so usual crap, really, isn't it? Here we go. Surely the shadow would change in position relative to the craft, especially if it's a globe that's meant to be passing over in craters. You should see the shadow distorted. And it's got closer to the edge of the moon. Yep, so this guy's onto it. Spherical, so the shadow should be expected to warp. Yeah, mate, you got it. So it's not in orbit around the moon. Maybe it's following the contour of the moon. So there's always someone trying to counteract it. No, it's not. It's awesome. What's this? I'm calling it. It was a flying cancerous mole. Weird. Some people are weird. I suppose we should move on, as we're going to chew up all our time on this, aren't we? The moon is a globe. The distance between the object and the shadow should change. Our perception makes the moon look flat. A flat earther. Total ignorance is one of the reasons why aliens don't want to meet up. Someone's having a strike at him. Natural intelligence. Oxymoron. There we go. It appears to be something tumbling. Yeah, we could see it was tumbling through space above the surface of the moon, like an asteroid. No, he's almost right. He's half right. Balloon, mate. Balloon is in the atmosphere. Rather, they admit Roswell was a cover-up. Hey Tyler, wishing you all the best. Why? Tyler, I have a question. Have you heard of Safe Moon? The shadow shot doesn't follow physics. Hey, we got another one that snuck in the back door. When the object gets close to the edge, the shadow would be further from it, because the moon is spherical. And we can see it was a constant distance away all the time. I'd like to feel just keep getting better. Person who says things like I'll get fired if I told people, well, they actually get thrown in prison, wouldn't they? And the key thrown away. Coolest thing we're doing in space probably is surely telling people some secrets in private. That's the type of person who can't keep a secret. I don't know. Not too sure about that mic. And they might have a sense of humour. I want that camera. You ain't gonna get it. Unless you got $1,100 US, I think it is. Love your channel, blah blah blah. Alright, so there was 3 people there questioned it. 3 out of hundreds. Uh, 2,000, 2,100, almost 2,200 comments. Unbelievable. Do you think he actually reads them all? No. Anyway, enough of him. Third phase are at it too. Now, I did actually put up a few debunks on my Twitter, if you follow me. Hey, Tommy T, haven't seen you around here. Are you still around? I better check up on the comments, actually. Yes, there's more money in fantasy, unfortunately. What about other channels who say they seek and debunk the truth, but they disinform as well? Yes, I expose them too. Are you talking about truth seekers that's working with Goofon? Yeah, and I think Robert's onto him as well. An alien scientist, he's working with all the fraud channels and showing up on their panels. Anyone that shows up on panels with Third Phase and Goofon, to me, are not experts. Not truthers either. They cherry pick. You either got to be all truth or nothing but the truth, and or not. One or the other. Unless they say it's the opinion or theory, or until more facts come in and may change my response, that sort of thing is okay. So what channels were you thinking of there, UFO bro? Which ones have you noticed? Telephoto of the moon or the balloon. Birds, yeah, but they all got sort of certain different characteristics, right? So sometimes you can see the shape of the birds, plus you can see the shape of the bats and the wings flapping. Digital interest filters can't solve it, but they can certainly help. And they got some special clever algorithms now where they overlay various images and build it up into sharp images, which we don't have access to, unfortunately, but maybe in the future we will. Would be good if it was like public domain, but NASA's worked on a lot of image processing algorithms that the FBI use to improve like VHS tapes and number plates from security cameras, which are pretty bad. Maybe some people in the UFO field has got access to some of that technology. I'm not sure if Mark D'Antonio has. It's the way you use the filters as well. I flip through all the different possibilities, and some add artifacts and some don't. And it's just a matter of finding a sweet spot. And of course sharpening as well. So, where do we begin with this one? I think it's this one here, so let's just do that.
Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins here. We've got the UFO sightings that you've been waiting for, and our emails are piling up. Our Facebook, Twitter, people are submitting the phenomenon.
Now we know that's BS, don't we? If people were submitting that much material, they would be putting out like 3-hour videos like I do with a whole collection of them, right? So we know that's not true. and they would be analysing it to be, less hoaxy. They sort of cherry pick what they search through the web themselves, right? So you often see them posting a comment, can we use that on our channel? And we'll give you promotion back. And of course, what's the person going to say? Yeah, I'm a new channel, I want the big channel to promote me.
On a daily basis, and we're sharing them with you as fast as possible. So let's get it.
Okay, so you compare this footage here with the last one of the moon. It's a similar idea, but you can see the weather atmospherics now on this one.
Started. An amateur astronomer had his lens pointed.
So we've got a white blob come from there, and it's traveling along. Again, so as an amateur here, the keyword being amateur. There's no apps being used to prove it's not a plane in lower atmosphere here passing by, which I believe is because it looks like a tic-tac blob. And no matter image processing, as UFO Pro has said, is going to improve that one. But it does kind of look like it's got a triangle shape happening where the tail fin would be. So who knows, it might be just a small plane, white plane, but look how bad quality it is. It's not worth looking around
at Saturn and captures something incredible traversing through the rings. Take a look at this video.
Yeah, small plane. Probably.
So as we're looking at this and getting a closer look, we've done some enhancements as best as we could. Let me tell you, to capture Saturn in its glory the way this is, it's very well done by an amateur. But what's incredible is that there's this celestial object that's traversing around the rings of Saturn. This isn't no moon. If it's not a moon, then this, in my opinion, is undeniable proof of some kind of interstellar craft. Now, is NASA going to come forward and tell us what was captured? I'm hoping somebody's going to be posting this on the major media, because this is big. Whatever this object is massive. Brent, what's your thoughts on this? Yeah, Blake, this one really blew me away. As soon as I saw this, we needed...
Brent, he almost burst out laughing there. These guys are just con men. And they've scripted this all together, and Brent's he's probably on the floor trying to hold in the laughter as Brent's reading that bullshit out.
To share it with you guys, and what's your thoughts in the chat room tonight? I'm sure we're all questioning this. This amateur astronomer captured something undeniable. What is it is a big question. I'm going to say to all of you, how big do you think this craft is? It must be massive to compare it to the size of Saturn and the rings itself. It's probably the size of Earth. I could imagine if this is the case, that Earth compared to Saturn would be about this scale. So we're looking at something massive in scope. If this is indeed a starship, I would like to see Hubble zoom up on this and get...
Okay, so we've been through the Hubble thing. The Hubble would need a size of a football, lens the size of the football field in America to be able to film something that's, what was it now? Was it a mile wide or 1 meter wide? But it had to be huge. I think it might have been 1 meter wide on the surface of the moon. So it's out in orbit on Earth there, and the moon's not that far away. So how big would the lens have to be able to film Saturn up close? That'd have to be like a lens the size of planet Earth itself. There's actually mathematics and calculations on that. So yeah, Brent probably knows that. I'd like to aim the Hubble. All you'd get is a worse picture probably, because probably the ground-based one is probably better quality when it's doing this. because some of their telescopes are pretty big on ground as well. They can be quite big. Let's see. It might even be the same size as a Hubble one, actually. Telescopes. Hang. Yeah, it's going to be different sizes. Yeah, they're quite big, some of them. We need a human next to it so we can see. So you can see these little short ones are going to be the ones. The bigger the aperture, the more light that comes in, the more distant things they can see. You want a proper serious one here. Probably like Mark D'Antonio's one. There we go. He's got something like that in his backyard, doesn't he? But the Hubble one's not that big. It was designed for deep space. And they're going to put up a better one soon.
Get a crystal clear photo of what we're looking at, or maybe all astronomers, amateur astronomers right now should be looking at Saturn and seeing if we see these kind of anomalies.
Have we got a date and time for that one? Then we could probably just see roughly where the guy is and see if he's near an airport. It doesn't look like it. Okay, so no information.
That's right, Brett. That's why we're putting out the word to all you amateur astronomers out there. Start pointing your lenses at Saturn right now, because this inner line, now we're dealing with something huge here. Like I said, this is big news. And even though the video's a little blurry, you got to appreciate the effort. Just got lucky enough. Then, guys.
Okay. So what do you think this one is, guys? Anyone out there still? Anyone that's sticking with the hardcore debunking out here still? Who we got left? Dan, probably. UFO Bro, maybe. Who else was here before? Tommy. So what do you reckon this one is? Obviously we've got a street lamp here. Could it be another street lamp? It's got the same sort of brightness to it. So obviously this thing, if you analyse it, you might actually be able to see the bulbs by. But you can see it's in the fog. So what's the reason to take a photograph in the fog? For a UFO channel, of course. So let's just grab that there. And process. Again, I think Scott Brando had that one on his page. He's already debunked it days before they used it. Same as Tyler. They got. I'm not sure if he got the street address and high mast lights are there, but that's something like some research he did to prove it. Open with. Okay, so how many light bulbs do you think is? It could be a circular one with multiple ones going around the outside. Could be two. Let's see what we can do. brightness. Okay. Does it look like it's going around in a circle? But like those high mast lights have a circular thing with a whole array of LEDs on them. Let's try some color swap and convert some of those whites. So we've got blacks, whites. You'll see how it radiates out. Too much fog. Too much fog to see what the detail was. You can see how the atmospherics are distorting all the light at different layers here through the fog. So yeah, but I think it's going to be bright white LEDs. It's brighter than this one here, which looks like one of those standard lights that go out that way. So yeah, let's have a look. High mast light. And it's going to be circular like this here. Any of those, probably that one maybe. So take your pick. I need to close that one down. UFO man. So yeah, we'll just move on from that. I think that's a high mast light. We couldn't get many clues from enhancing it there, but it did have a look. It had a circular shape to it. I think maybe Scott has done some research on that one. Don't save. Is it closing? Let's have a quick look at Scott's page for that one. Scott. So we need to find the traffic lights. We come back to that one. Here we go. So what's he got here? So it looks like it's similar to this one here with the 3 bulbs. Remember it had that sort of triangle shape going around. And one of the latest videos, YouTube experts of hoax promoter. The YouTube videos on YouTube, the experts of the hoax promoter Jamie Misson claimed that those are smaller UFOs. The comparison is correct because they are similar high-last light pulse. Already exposed them. Okay. There is it. There it goes. High mast lights. That's the one. And it looks like cleaner footage as well, doesn't it? A wee bit better anyway. Yeah. So we chose that frame. So it started moving, didn't it? In a car, was it? Let's see, it started moving. Let's do that again, zooming in. Digital zoom. Go through a car window, but also it's less overexposed. And it's driving off. So these are obviously similar images. Okay, it just repeats. So yeah, so on to the next one. So you can see there's definitely a round circle of 6 bulbs here on one of those frames, which if we grabbed it, we could probably improve it. But it looks to me like Scott did that further above, or someone did, on the editor, right? There, someone got the 6 bulb frame. And then they found a similar example. I'm not sure what language, South American is it? Keep on going.
Helicopter is definitely not an airplane. It's just remaining stationary, but it does seem to change form in ways, and then back to its saucer shape, and then a huge bright light, very luminescent again. What is the source of the light, and what's the source of the meta propulsion that's keeping it up in the air? Brent, what's your thoughts? Any speculation here?
These guys.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking at
See, they're laughing.
tonight, guys.
These guys are laughing their heads off at you guys. Yeah, idiots for watching them.
Thanks for joining us. We see the area, it's kind of fogged out, so the whole area is being illuminated with the light, whatever it is. Could it be maybe a tower off in the background creating this light show, if that's what we're looking at? I'm leaning towards something else. It looks strange. It has this spherical, bright, luminescent object, and then it kind of splits apart, and you see kind of a pyramidal shape in front of this craft, and then something else in the back. It's quite unique. I can't quite make out what this is. It's unidentified, and that's why we're sharing it tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring it up, Brent, that it could be maybe a structure in the background, and there's some lights on top of it, and maybe it's obscured by the fog, and that could be the case. And I'm hoping we could find out a little bit more on this and bring you the answers. But right now, we're not seeing any structure. And in my opinion, whatever this is, it's up there in the sky, and it's hovering there. And again, what's the meta propulsion behind it? We're not.
So they say it started off with a builder, did the start, talked about it, hover, and did better propulsion. So that to me is misleading people. I just skimmed past these 2 clowns. They can't keep not laughing. Okay, next bit. This one's a bit more interesting. So, a red light that seems to be moving. Could be a list up, back at a list up. What's the light in the sky? Drone / LED kite. What else? Balloon, maybe. The way it was moving sideways, it can't be a plane. Helicopter, possible on the list. Let's keep watching. Oh, look, they're passing in front of the tree. Could it be a reflection? No, that's probably Roller's shutter. So we'll just go back to that. looks like they keep zooming in as well, which makes it look like it's moving. Ah, damn it. Got me on the double click. Okay, it looks less like a circle now. Ah, right, now it's rotating. And it's creating a lens flare. So we know it's a real light.
I like this.
A real video.
We've got...
I'll just put it back. Go back. Okay, so... Clearly these guys are watching something.
a person you can see
And film it the wrong way, of course.
looking up in the sky at this red luminescent object just glowing.
Now, is it a reflection? I don't think so.
Red. Moving at really incredible speeds, erratic maneuvers. It's rotating, undulating. Again, this is kind of strange. It almost seems biological.
Okay, so it looks like it's over top of the leaves here, but you can see with rolling shutter and slight hand movement, it can do that. Appear to be over top of the tree. So the rolling shutter, because it's got a portrait as top to bottom, so it's scanning down this way. So if you move up and down slightly, means that the UFO could be in a specific place on the next scan where it wasn't originally, right? So it looks like it's over leaves.
Organic. But I could be wrong. It
And looks like it might be...
could be a drone.
So there you go, that's over top of the leaves because of the movement.
But has anybody seen a drone like this?
Damn, I got caught on that game. I really hate that feature.
Obviously, the people on the ground are very curious about what this object is. Usually, people look at drones and they're very mundane. We're used to these now. We're not excited about drones. But when you see something like this seems almost out of this world.
So when I said lead kites, it could be one of those RC ones. So it could fly around like a drone. It's really hard to tell. But clearly it's man-made here. It's not an alien craft, right? So it's going to be RC controlled, remote controlled, lead. Bar. It's got a bar of lights that rotate. Kites. So just try that one first. And there's one of these bar lights. But have we got it for a kite? They reckon it's on that one, do they? Which is RC kite. Flies without strings. So yeah. Here's another one. Remote control kite. With lots of LEDs on it. So where's the bar light on them? So it's a possibility. Could be an RC kite, but hard to rule out completely. So we really need a video at night time. Night time. But regardless, it's still looking very man-made, doesn't it? So whether it's a drone, whether it's a kite, we don't know 100%, unless the people come forward So let's just type in perhaps if we put lead in, it would come up better. Let's try lead. Right, night. So we knew this one here, which is a triangle kite, could have a row of LEDs flying around it, and it can be remote controlled. So we did do some videos over the past of these things flying around. Kite Festival, remote controlled kites. Let's have a quick look at that one. Okay, I'm not sure if that's new or not. A bit worried about the name down here. Sounds like it might be commercial. So probably can't play it. Let's have a look. We really want to advertise in one. We're trying to promote. Okay, I have to get rid of the sound. Okay, so no strings attached to those. Oh, there's the flying wing. So yeah, you can see if they had a bar light or turn off the tail, right? You wouldn't see the tail. So it could be a kite. Probably not those ones though. Looks like they haven't got enough variation in kites here. Let's see. What's that one say? Sounds like some hobbyist. So let's have a look at his one. A transparent one. Oh, that is crazy, doesn't it? Okay. I can see why they do it. It's a lot of fun, I guess. But again, that one's not got a bar, rotating bar. So let's try rotating bar light. Or maybe just rotating bar. Red kite bird fix. Not that kind of kite. That's a bird they're talking about there. Anyway, there was one similar that we debunked, but I'm not sure what episode it was on. Spelled it wrong up there. That doesn't help. Even that corrected it. So let's see. Light bars. What's that one? I think we looked at that one before. What's this one? No comment TV. So anything with TV we have to avoid. Control bar. No. What's that one? Alright then, see you later. Yeah, probably have to wrap up. But UFO Man, he put this one up as well. But I was going to go through some of his again. I think it's the same one. Just shows you how they sort of copy each other, these people. Put up the same garbage and then they don't solve it for you.
UFO over Cournotero, France on 11/9/2021. I have darkened the footage and slowed it down by 0.50.
So this must be the one that Scott was talking about. What was it? Further up. Talking about a UFO wave over France. Is that the one? Here we go, France. Saturated with sightings, France. 3 different videos from different locations. I don't have an explanation yet. I can propose a hypothesis about drones with lead barred lights. So he's going the drone way, but I'm not too sure. I'll just have a skim of it. Okay. Can't see. Bad camera work. What the hell is it meant to be? Oh well, not so good video. Slingshot kites. Lead airship. It could be an airship. Airship would have a thing that could rotate on the side of it as well. So let's try that. Lead bar light airship. See what comes up. So that's the one that could be on the list as well. I suppose someone will come clean. Seahawk, 470 lead bars. Ooh. It's not that kind of lead bar. Don't think. Talking about party bars, aren't they? Or drink. Don't know. Maybe not. Light bars. So drone is another possibility. A drone. But anyway, let's not spend too much time on it. So is it the same video? Yeah. Simulation. Configuration of the drone. So it's just a computer simulation. And let's have a look at this thing.
Yep.
Oh, there's a bar. That's green. I'll just mute that. Okay, let's have a look. He's not going to show it flying. That's not it flying, is it? No, it's the same video that we're looking at. Yes, not a really good comparison there, Scott. What's this one? Little lasers. Well, that's all we got on it. Oh well. He hasn't got any confirmations, so I'm admitting to it. But that's what it is.
So the maneuvers that it's performing here. Brian, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, we wouldn't share it unless we thought it was unique, and it is. We're seeing these strange undulating movements, and it's rotating. I don't see drones flipping like that. It almost looks like a tic-tac doing kind of like a cartwheels. It's pretty wild stuff. This thing's pretty bright up there, and you can see the people trying to chase this UFO down as it kind of flies behind the trees. It's illuminated, and why is it this color? There's no...
So the bar's more of a square shape on the drone, so it's just rotating around on the square, and that's all. It's not the drone itself flipping around, but it still could be a kite, it could be a blimp. Anyway, just moving on.
So he has a YouTube channel called the Unidentifieds 4, and he's allowed us permission to share this with you, and we're grateful for other YouTubers reaching out to Third Phase of Moon to get down to the bottom of this mystery. And also, this video came from Kevin Barrett, and we're appreciating Kevin for getting this footage out so people could see this. The TR3B is a mystery out there. We've been bringing this...
Hang on. If that was a TR3B, why did the lights just change position there? That means these are separate light sources.
Phenomenon to you for over a decade. We've had photographs, videos.
So there could be anything in the sky. 3 planes, 3 RCs, 3 drones. Again, it's bollocks.
In the universe. And
is that all? Oh, right, this one here. So they try to get kudos, right? They know already it's been debunked, this one. So they're saying, oh, this one they tried to fool us, but it's actually a building.
Is quite large in the sky, and we're looking at it, and I'm asking everybody if they have any idea what this is. You let us know. But Brent heard about some things. Again, this is kind of liquid. It's breaking right now. We're getting this video up as fast as possible. So, Brent, what's the background on this?
Liquid.
Yeah, definitely. It's a cool picture. It's kind of breaking the net right now, and I wanted to share it with Blake. And there's a story behind it, and people out there, that's what they do. They see a story, and then they give us the truth on what's really going on behind the scenes. And guess what? There's
Okay, so we just looked at high mass lights. It's one possibility, but it could be also a building with lights on in the fog again. So as I said it in the very first one. And yet they didn't own up to it being a high mask at all. But this one, they get a different picture
photo that came out that really shows what this is. It's actually a tower. This is definitely fluid right now. I don't know exactly which city this is in, but we're pulling up the photos, and you could definitely...
So that's been debunked. And they're just trying to get some credibility there, even though they're not credible at all, because they hoax stuff in 2020. So yeah, I suppose UFO Man, we might have a look over his ones next time. But yeah, again, UFO interests, let's just have a quick look. And the building one should be here too, but a lot of scrolling, because that was debunked many days ago. Here we go. When was it debunked? 10th of November. Days ago. Giant triangle UFO over Montreal, Canada. This account does not exist now. Giant thing. So it went back to the night. Foggy Nights exposed one of them on YouTube. So he's saying it's a building structure right off. Here we go. Come out on November the 9th. Canada has gone viral on Facebook. On the right, the Montreal Olympic Stadium is what it is. Fog. And that makes perfect sense. So, solved. And that's enough I can take for one night. Garbage in, garbage out. But yeah, just be careful of misleading stuff in ufology. It's all about making money out of your ratings. Always fact check yourself the best you can, of course. If not, go and ask some other people if you're not sure, like Scott. And Mick West even might even reply. I will as well. But these guys get to see it before I do, generally, because I'm sleeping because of the time zones. We'll just stick those there. I don't know if they're any use for fun. I think I've already done a fun day. So yeah, get that out the way with. And I'll just go and say goodnight now. Let's just check side comments before I go. Later is gone. UFO Brew is still here. I got to go too. I got dinner. What about the other channels who say they seek? Okay, so we went through most of those, didn't we? Probably missed some. Yes, people should put comments in, feedback on all videos. They shouldn't be deleting comments though, but they do, don't they? That's dishonesty. And at the moment we've got Google even helping them. Google has even removed my comments where I say, well, that's actually a moon behind trees on UFO Proof's channel. And it's just not on, is it? So anyway, if you missed it, just go back to the beginning and watch it again. So yeah, unfortunately, again, this is like a live debunk sort of thing, and investigation. Looking at it for the first time mostly here. Have seen some before though. Good night all, take care on the roads. I'll just say on the roads. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got Robert with us. I'm not sure what information he's bringing, but he said he's been told a lot of interesting stuff that he's not allowed to tell anybody. And it's making him really hard to sleep because people are telling stuff that should be known to all ufologists about UFO and aliens. So yeah, I can understand where he's coming from because I have been told things too, which I can't talk about NDA. So whether they're true or not, the stories anyway. But if they've got video proof, like some of them have so far that we've received, and they will show us a low-grade version rather than the original footage, is really annoying. But there was some real decent UFO non-spud cam stuff out there, and the government's got it, as well as a few people out there just holding on to it for some reason. So it's a bit of a shame, and probably Robert might talk about it, that he's sort of not able to sleep because he's been told lots of good stuff and he's not allowed to bring it to us through his group. I've also been told stuff by people in comments on other platforms and alt media. Some claim to have worked in the military, and they made all these sort of comments like, that's not a UFO. I worked on picking up crashed retrievals of experimental planes and stuff. So I said, oh, can you come on live and talk? No. It's always a no. So if you don't come on live and talk, even if we disguise your voice or whatever in real time, which we can sort of do, it's really hard to ask you more questions and see if you're a attention seeker or liar or maybe a leaker. and quiet using a fake account and stuff. But yeah, I better wrap up now. Better shut up. So take care and keep looking up and get some decent recordings of a real UFO, guys. That's the only way we're going to do it. Unfortunately, you won't get physical evidence. I know it won't satisfy everybody, but I'm pretty decent if I saw a high definition video, especially from multiple angles and multiple witnesses, would probably be good enough for me. Physical evidence doesn't mean they left any, of course, so you've got to remember that as well. Anyway, I've got to have dinner. Go and enjoy your rest of the evening or whatever. Give Google probably 20 minutes to process the video, then it'll play properly in HD. You know, when it's processed, the side chat appears. I think they take it away while it's processing, don't they? And I'll upload it to my old media. I wasn't going to do one today, but I thought in the mood to do one before Rob's show. Good night.